Hi friends, this is Sri Devi. I am a registered mutual fund distributor and certified wealth manager. Wishing all Indians a very happy Independence Day. This Independence Day, let's embrace another important freedom, that is financial freedom. It's essential to build, maintain, and enjoy financial independence throughout every stage of our life, especially during retirement. So, you want financial freedom at 50? Let's see how much you may need to invest through a monthly SIP to target rupees 5 crore corpus in 25 years with and without a 10% annual step up. As we all know, starting early can make a significant difference to the amount you need to invest every month. If you start investing at 25 and have 25 years to build a retirement corpus of rupees 5 crore, a monthly SIP of around rupees 26,349 can potentially help you reach the target, assuming an annual return of 12%. Well, there is another way to approach the same goal by increasing the SIP by 10% every year. An investor can start with a much lower monthly contribution of around rupees 11,695 and potentially build a rupees 5 crore corpus over the same 25 years period, assuming the same 12% annual return. So, building a large retirement corpus is not only about how much you invest, the time available for your money to compound can have a major impact on the final corpus. This is why starting early and increasing investments as income rises can help investor work towards ambitious long-term financial goals. Let's take a closer look at the numbers. How much SIP would you need to build a rupees 5 crore corpus by age 50? Imagine starting your investment journey at 25 with a clear goal of reaching 5 crore by 50. That gives you 25 years or 300 months of disciplined investing to work towards your goal. At an assumed annual return of 12%, the investor would need to invest approximately rupees 26,349 every month throughout the 25-year period. Let's have a further look at the calculations. That we said monthly SIP will be rupees 26,349 and we are going to invest for 25 years. Assuming the expected annual return of 12%, the total investment would be approximately rupees 79.05 lakh and the estimated returns approximately would be rupees 4.21 crore. That is, the total value will be rupees 5 crore. That means the investor would contribute around rupees 79.05 lakh over 25 years, while the estimated returns would account for approximately rupees 4.21 crore of the final corpus. On the other hand, let's work around on the calculations. Can a step up SIP reduce the initial monthly investment? Considering a fixed SIP of around rupees 26,349 every month may not be affordable for someone at the beginning of their career. This is where the step up SIP can make the target more manageable. Under a step up SIP strategy, the investor increases the SIP every year as their income grows. If the monthly SIP is increased by 10% every year, the investor can start with an initial monthly SIP of around rupees 11,695 and potentially target a rupees 5 crore corpus over 25 years, assuming a 12% annual return. Looking at the in-depth calculation for the same, that we said initial monthly SIP that we mentioned here is rupees 11,695 and annual SIP increases by 10%. Investment period being 25 years assuming the expected annual return of 12%. The total investment here would be approximately rupees 1.38 crore, and the estimated returns would be approximately rupees 3.62 crore. Hence, the total value in this strategy would become rupees 5 crore. Here, we can observe an interesting factor on this calculation is that the initial monthly contribution is substantially lower than the fixed SIP requirement. However, the investor has to increase the SIP by 10% every year. The monthly contribution therefore becomes significantly higher in the later years. Let's see more in detail how does a 10% annual SIP step up work. A 10% annual step up means the monthly SIP increases by 10% every year. For example, an investor starting with a monthly SIP of around rupees 11,695 would invest approximately rupees 12,864 per month in the second year. The contribution would continue to rise by 10% each year. By the 25th year, the monthly SIP would be rupees 1.15 lakh. This shows that while a step up strategy reduces the initial monthly burden, the investor need to be prepared for substantially higher contribution as their income and investment capacity increases. So, I can advise this approach can be useful for investors whose income is expected to rise over the time. Instead of committing to a large SIP from the beginning, they can start with a relatively smaller amount and gradually increase their contributions towards SIP. However, you may note that a step up strategy requires consistency. Missing annual increases can affect the final corpus and may require a higher contribution later or a longer investment period to reach the same goal. As we can see, why starting early matters for a rupees 5 crore corpus. We know that the earlier an investor starts, the more time their investments have to compound. Someone targeting a rupees 5 crore corpus by 50 has a significant advantage if they begin investing in their 20s rather than waiting until their 30s. In this illustration, the investor has 25 years for the money to compound. A substantial portion of the final corpus comes from the assumed investment returns rather than the amount contributed by the investor. This is also why delaying investment can increase the monthly amount required to reach the same financial goal. So, the shorter investment period leaves less time for compounding to work. Now, we are able to say fixed SIP versus step up SIP, which needs less initially. The two approaches can target the same rupees 5 crore corpus, same 25 years time horizon, and at the same assumed rate of annual returns, but the investment pattern is different. With a fixed SIP, an investor starting at 25 would need to invest approximately rupees 26,349 every month for 25 years, assuming a 12% annual return. The total amount invested would be around rupees 79.05 lakh. With a 10% annual step up, the investor could start with approximately rupees 11,695 per month. The SIP would then increase by 10% every year for 25 years. The total amount investment would be around rupees 1.38 crore in step up SIP. The step up approach therefore requires a much lower initial monthly commitment, but the contribution becomes progressively larger as the year passes. It may be more suitable for the investor who expect their income and saving capacity to increase over the time. This illustration also highlights the importance of the time and compounding in long term investment. However, investors should not assume that the 12% return will be achieved every year, as the market linked investment can deliver varying returns and actual outcomes may differ significantly from these calculations. A rupees 5 crore corpus may provide substantial financial flexibility, but whether is it good enough for retirement depends on factors such as inflation, lifestyle expenses, healthcare cost, other investments, and the number of years the corporate need to be support the investor. I hope the information was interesting and useful to know. Please note that the calculation illustrated here are projections and are not investment advice. Consult an expert for your financial planning. Please book your free consultation today using given link to invest smarter with expert recommended funds tailored to your financial goals. And stay tuned to my next piece of content for more enlightening insights into the different topics of investment world. Until then, take care. Bye.